let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Happiness. Thinking about the word makes me really happy already.
Happiness is very personal. It means different things to different people. To me, it's that state of well-being. It might come being mental or physical. And some of the qualities that come with it comes with contentment, or it could be a pleasant experience that you've gone through. For me, that's happiness.
You know, you're happy, you're excited about life, you're eager to learn, you're happy with everyone, you're happy with life, you're happy with God, you're happy with your family, you're happy with yourself. You're glad to be in the land of the living. So that is happiness for me.
Nobody's always happy. There are people who are always sad. There are moments that you get sad. But a happy person knows that, okay, when I get sad, I should be able to transit from this moment of being sad and bounce back to that self of that moment where I get happy.
Obstacles to happiness.
I think it's more difficult for us now in the modern world because a lot of people are going after material wealth.
I think life expectation, you know, as human beings, we have a lot of expectation every day. So when those expectations are not met, people get really frustrated, they lose that happiness in them to live and to keep trying to achieve, you know, the things they have set for themselves. I think the pressure of life, we're in 21st century, and with a lot of pressure on human beings, you know, people get really frustrated, they get really stressed, and with all that, you can lose that joy, that happiness in you.
You know, some of these things are elusive. They're not things that you get now and you think you'll be satisfied.
For me, that works for me. Like when I don't have money, oh my God, you don't want to see me. I'm not smiling with anybody. And then, of course, work, when you're not doing well at what you're doing, when you're not progressing, when you think you're not progressing, when you think things are not working out for you, when you're at a dead end, that can be, you know, a happiness sucker that can take away your happiness. So yes.
If we spend more time with ourselves, like taking a trip to a new place, to learn the culture of that place, to learn a new language, you know, experiences, just be curious about life. That for me could bring in happiness.
Well, I do a lot of things. I'm a very active person. I first of all pray. Prayer lifts a lot of pressure from you because you feel like you're communicating to someone that can actually really help you. Exercising, you exercise. When you exercise, your body actually releases endorphins, and endorphins make you happy. Doing fun stuff, trying new things out. You know, you've probably never done gone on a boat ride before. Try it out. So doing new things every day, that can make you happy.
So I go for things that things like friendship. I am an artist. I'm always in love with my studio. I'm in my studio. I'm a happy person. So if you find me in that space, I'm always a happy person, you know?
Whoa. The benefits of staying happy are enormous. I'm telling you, if I want to start telling you, saying it here, I won't go home. There are a lot of benefits. It starts with you as a person. You can't even function in an unhappy place because you're not thinking straight. You're not in a good place. So staying happy makes you a focused person, makes you a healthy person.
Thank you for watching today. You are watching Emotions with Omenesa. This is a show where I encourage you to take control of your emotions and not the other way around. But today is a very, very good topic and a very exciting topic. 10 ways to stay happy. Now, I used to be somebody who was pretty sad, and it didn't look like that. It didn't look like that in my pictures. It just didn't look like that in my affiliations, because all I was doing was singing and just being in a position where I have to meet people. And makeup was always done, so the face always looked right. People didn't know if I slept or not. People didn't know if I cried all night. People had no idea. And that character followed me for so many years, to where even I believed that I was happy. Deep down on the inside of me, I knew that I wasn't happy. So these are the tips that have brought me to where I am today, and I can truly say that I am happy. And the things that I am not happy about, I have accepted that those are the things that I cannot change. So that's the first rule in wanting to stay happy, because it's not just about being happy, but staying happy. The first rule is accept the things that you cannot change. There are just certain things that you cannot change. There was a time in my life that my husband and I had done an IVF, and so much money was put into that, so many injections, over 20 injections, just such a long procedure, very emotionally torturing, financially draining, physically painful. It was just a very long process. And it was even more annoying because it was a process that we were doing, and we knew people who have committed abortions. We know people who don't even want children. We know people who have had children out of wedlock, and they are so ashamed of it. And here we were in our 5th year, going to 6th year of marriage, and we didn't have any kids. We had had a miscarriage before, and so we decided to do this IVF. And we went for it big time. Now, there is something in the fertility world called a 2-week wait. That 2-week wait is pretty much like 2 years. Every day is like 72 hours. 24 hours becomes 72 hours, because you are just anticipating when you're going to get that test result. It takes 2 weeks to get a negative or positive test result with an IVF. So for those 2 weeks, I was laying flat on my back. For those 2 weeks, I was just very, very careful. For those 2 weeks, I was prayerful. I was praying. I was sleeping right. I was eating right. Even though it was a very hard 2 weeks emotionally, it was also physically emotional, because there was a time that I had threw up and all kinds of complications. But on the day that the 2 weeks was up, I went and I took my test. And 3 embryos, which will eventually become 3 babies, were not there. In the fertility world, we would say that they didn't stick. When I received that negative report, it was painful. My husband and I cried for days. It was just painful. And I had to come to grips with reality. Fantasy, imagination, faith, all of that was, I want a baby. I want a child. I want to be a mother. I want to be the mother of a child that came out of my own womb. That is my desire. But reality is, I don't have that right now. And if I have had a miscarriage before, and if I have done an IUI, which is another procedure to having a baby, and that didn't work, if I have taken all kinds of medication and that didn't work, if I have done an IVF, which cost millions of dough, and that still didn't work, maybe I just need to accept the things that I don't have any control of. That doesn't mean that I will accept that I can never have a child. No, because I don't know that. That's all in the hands of God. The first tip to be happy is to accept the things that you cannot change. You can't just go ahead and create a baby. You can't do that. You can't do that. You know, and I really love what the doctor says. You know, when they transfer the embryos into your womb, the doctor says now is left to God. The rest of the process is left to God. The rest of the process is left to a bigger power, to a higher power. So you can't do anything about it. So if you can't do anything about it, why stay sad about it? In my journey to fertility, I have learned that there are some things that I just can't manipulate. I can't bribe. I can't pay for it. I can't tweak it. I can't alter it. Some things are just the way that they are. And right now, as of today, right now, as I'm looking in this camera, right now, I do not have a child. And I am so grateful that I do have a husband. I'm grateful that I do have friends. I'm grateful that I have my health. I'm grateful that I'm not blind and I'm not lame and I can walk. I am grateful that I can talk. I am grateful. So that's the second tip to being happy, is be grateful. Be grateful for the things that you do have. So number one, accept the things that you do not have. Accept them. But number two, be grateful for the things that you do have. You do have your right mind. You are in your right mind. You went to school, or if you didn't go to school, you're doing a business. You actually have articulation. You actually have the brain and the common sense to do business. People trust you. Your family loves you. If they don't love you, somebody loves you. There is something good going on in your life. And be grateful for that. I actually have a book, and it's called A Grateful Book. I write down everything every day that has happened good to me. Like having this show. This is a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to sit down in front of a camera and just talk. I mean, just talk, for goodness sake, because there was a time in my life that I was so timid. I was so shy. I was a stutterer. I just couldn't even make a sentence without stammering. But I'm sitting down in front of a camera that is being listened to worldwide. And about the scar tissue, all of those scars, I have one here. I have another one here. I have some on my back from scoliosis. All of those scar tissue is just simply a reminder that you made it. It's a reminder. It's yet another reason to be grateful. Because this scar here, it shows that I went through something and I didn't die in it. I didn't drown in it. I went through it and I made it and I conquered it and I overcame it. So that's what your scar tissue is for. It's a reminder that somebody has been faithful. It's a reminder that the higher power, God, has been faithful. Another thing on the list is to exercise. You see, when you exercise, the happy endorphins that God created in your brain, they wake up. They wake up. They say, hey, I'm happy. If you exercise all the time, you would find out that you will hardly get angry. The things that you used to be angry about, you would try to conjure some type of emotion. Okay, this is when you should be angry. This is when you should blow up. But because the substance, the amount of endorphins working in your system is at such a high level, of course, you would still be angry, but it would be under control because you're happier than your anger. Another way to stay happy is to have a positive list. Just as I have a grateful list, which was number 2, have a positive list. Write down everything that is positive in your life, especially in your personality. You know, you are victorious, you are pretty, you are handsome, people adore you, people take your word as gold. You are in a good position at your career or at your job. Like, just write down a long list of positive things and stay positive. Now, staying positive means really staying very, very, very far away from negative people. Far away, very far, far. Just you know, like, I like this thing in my country, like when somebody comes up to talk to you and you're really not interested, and the person just comes up there, I beg. That's like please just leave me alone. Please, I beg you, just stay in your lane. So I beg. Okay, stay in your lane. Really, just keep them at bay. People who are negative, people who just have negative energy, I mean, like you give them an idea and they tell you how stupid it is, and they tell you how dumb it is, they tell you how you can't do it. People who just wear their feelings all on their sleeves and make everybody think that it's their fault for making them feel the way they feel. No. People who complain all the time, just always complaining. Nothing is ever right. Nothing looks good. Nothing feels good. Nothing is good. No. Please. Just stay far away from those type of people. And if you're in a situation where you can't stay away from those type of people, like maybe they're blood related, then just know how to curb it. Make sure that your positivity outweighs their negativity. If you can't avoid them, just go ahead and shine even brighter. Shine. So that's another point. So as you have a positive list and trying to stay positive, also have a negative list. Write down the negativity that's going on around you. Maybe something that somebody said, maybe some kind of childhood trauma, something that's just been stuck in your psyche and you just can't get it out. Anything that's negative. You could also have a list of that, and guess what? Trash it. Put it in the trash. Don't allow it to stick in your mind. Write it all down. So-and-so said this. So-and-so did that. Or maybe even I did that and it was negative. Or maybe you have a habit that's just so destructive. Write it down and then trash it. Remember, this exercise is to stay healthy. Okay? Is to stay healthy. So you have to be positive and you have to stay happy. And the only way to stay happy is to be positive, okay? And another thing that you can do with being positive is that you could write a long list of affirmations, things that you love about yourself, things that are positive about yourself. And you could also ask people, what do you like about me? You know, and try to go to people who would actually give you a candid opinion and not people who would make you feel like you're vain. No, like just tell people that you are running an exercise or something and you just want a very, very candid opinion about how you are. You know, do you laugh a lot? Like, are you sweet? Do you greet people? You know, just have that list, positive list. And surely there are certain things that you know about yourself that are positive. So write that down and recite that to yourself every day, sometimes even 3 times a day if you can. Every day. I am outgoing. I am a giver. I am a lover. I am in a positive light. If you practice that for 21 days, they say it takes 21 days to form a habit. If you practice that for 21 days, you will believe it. Oh, yes, you will. And then the negativity and the vampires will definitely be at bay eventually. Okay, so let's do that. Another point would be to stay happy, would be to sleep. Sleep. When you don't sleep, you get easily irritated. When you don't sleep, you're always in a bad mood. When you don't sleep, your impulses are just extremely high. When you don't sleep, you get a fever. When you don't sleep well, you get sick. And when you get sick, you die. Okay? Can you see how it's a ripple effect? Okay? So, please, let me just encourage you to sleep. Get ample amount of rest. Try to rest in the afternoon. Like, take a power nap, like for 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Set an alarm. And if you can't do that, try to sleep on time so you can get at least 8 hours of sleep or 7 hours, you know, of uninterrupted sleep. Drinking a lot of water will keep you hydrated. It would also detoxify you. It would keep you stronger, and it would keep a lot of diseases at bay. And a sick person is obviously not a happy person, okay? So let's do that. Another point is having control of your finances, taking charge of your finances. Definitely having a job or having a business, running a business, but you're not just making money, you are saving money. When I first started working, my first paycheck was $1,000, And my father took me to a bank and he helped me open a bank account, and he looked at me and he said, baby, it's not about how much you make. It's about how much you save. Remember, for me, family is always first. So as soon as that money comes in and you take care of your tithe and you take care of your offerings or whatever you do in your religious beliefs financially wise, as soon as that's done, make sure that your family comes first, and then have a percentage for yourself. You can't stay happy if you're broke. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard. Like depression and brokenness, I think that they're synonymous. Okay, so try to be as disciplined as you can financially. If you know that you have issues with saving money, then you're going to have an accountability partner who makes sure that you do not spend more than this certain amount by Friday or by this week. Do everything in percentages. 20% is for the house. 10% is for your nails and your weave and your tie and your suits and your shoes, you know, or 10% is for you to just splurge. 30% is for investments, you know. Make sure that you're saving money to buy land, to buy gold, to, you know, invest. And that's money that you're not going to touch anytime soon. Just make sure that you are not just saving, but that part of that money that's being saved is not just in the bank. It's also in property. It's also in land. It's in gold. It's in cattle. You know, there's so many things that actually have a perfect turnover financially to where you could really, really be wealthy. As you are on a quest to staying happy, remember that it's not just you who is in the world. You weren't created just to be here alone. You also have to make other people happy. So make sure that you are helping people, you are involved in people's lives, you are volunteering at organizations, you are giving to people. There was a time in my life that I was always at the hospital. I was giving gifts to women who had just had their babies. I was massaging women who were pregnant. I was giving free massages. I was actually paying, I would just walk into a school and I would ask the principal for a child who hasn't paid his or his tuition, you know, like a child who has really been lagging, and I would go ahead and I'll pay for it. And I did that every year. I just go ahead and pay for it. I haven't done that this year, and I need to. But that was such a habit that I had cultivated. I wasn't just planting the seed for when my children come along, but I just wanted to be nice. I wanted to help somebody. I wanted to change somebody's life. Sometimes I leave my name there, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm a perfect stranger. So try to help somebody. When you walk into a restaurant, pay for somebody's meal. When you're in a taxi with a lot of people, pay for somebody's seat. You understand? Just help people. Be there. Make yourself available. It's not just going to an orphanage, which is good, but there's so many other ways of helping people. Visit your neighbor. Be people-oriented. Be kind to people. Give to people by giving them compliments. Okay? No compliment is ever cheap. And that's such a good way to stay happy. Last but not least, focus on the life that you would want to live. There is a purpose. There is a reason why you're here. You know, you're not just here to waste time. You're not just here to take up space. There's a reason why you're here. So why don't you find out what that reason is, really? If you get compliments a lot in a certain area, I used to get compliments a lot about how I used to dress in the fabrics that I use, which in Africa is called Ankara. It's an African wax, and I got those compliments so many times that I just had to admit that I may really have a knack for this. So I decided to go into business, and I was supplying these fabrics and getting them sewn and sewing them already made or just in the fabric, and before I knew it, I was supplying weddings and funerals with this type of attire. So I mean, if you are very intentional and cognitive, and if you could just sit down and actually reason and ask yourself, what is it that I was called here to do? Of course, supplying fabrics is not the only thing that I was called to do, but it is one of the things. I've met some great people just being in the fabric business. So that is one of my callings, and it is one of my purpose. And just as I'm supplying people with fabrics, then I start to encourage them, and then I start to counsel them, and then I'm really working in my calling and in my purpose. So the best way to stay happy is to find out why you are here on earth, because you can never be happy if you're just crowding up space. So you have to know why you're here. So sit down and think about why you were here. There is a reason why you are still breathing, and there's a reason why you are not 6 foot under. There is a reason why you are here. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be ecstatic. There is only one life, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are staying happy and that you remain happy forever. You will have to jump off a cliff, just knowing that you will not crash. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.